Next up is four people. Actually, it's really just me talking. The reason why I put these four people up is this is a group effort by everybody who is currently running the governance ship at the moment. And I believe that they're all mostly in the chat. So if you have questions and you don't want to listen to me talking and would rather talk to an expert, by all means, ask in the chat. And Ian, who some of you may know from doing amazing work onboarding public data in the network, Tanisha, who may be new to some of you, but is now driving the ins and outs and logistics of governance. Is also here, and Adrian isn't around because if folks know him from SP work and being at PL, he's in Oceania, he's in Australia, and it's a ridiculous time zone there, which means because he's away, I can blame him for all the mistakes or errors that we make in the next 25 minutes as I teach you about a poll of the ecosystem. And we will make mistakes because I'm fully planning here to do the thing that I always swear off doing, which is a live demo of an extremely new and untested tool. So bear with us. Mistakes may be made, but that's actually part of what we're trying to do to help kick off some changes in the governance system. If you remember this slide from earlier, we wanted to scale and honestly kind of speed up governance in the network through better and faster decision-making tools, metrics, and an iterative improvement process. Now, we don't want to go fast and break things because if you break governance, you also break everything else. But we did want to build up a little bit of fresh momentum. I know things have been kind of slow in the governance reform world. We had some plans to move things along, and it's been a while. And I know that I've been talking about this for a while. That said, things still have been proceeding. I would just call out, and goodness, this isn't really governance's skills at work here, but it is a demonstration that things can be done at the core of governance, which is writing, debating, and passing FIPS. So as you probably know, fast finality shipped this week. And that was a long and technically complicated thing that required a lot of feedback from a lot of different people in the ecosystem. And also FIP 100, which is the most cursed of FIPs, which is a crypto economic FIP, a thing that actually affects the value accrual and basic underlying distribution of value and costs across the whole of the network. FIP 100 managed to pass, even though a lot of that discussion crossed over to a lot of communities, some of whom were celebrating the winter holiday in the Western Hemisphere, and on the Eastern Hemisphere were celebrating Chinese New Year and other New Year celebrations. So that was pretty impressive to be able to do that stuff fast without breaking things. However, let it not be said that the governance system in Filecoin is perfectly smooth and a pure process. I think these are the nicest things I think we can say about some of the bugs, right? Conversations are scattered. It's very hard to know where to keep track, even though people spend a lot of time trying to announce ideas or discuss ideas on YouTube, in GitHub discussions, in Notion notes. It's often taken by surprise. I hear people often say, I didn't know this was happening, or I find out that there's a really good discussion talking about Filecoin Plus reform on a YouTube channel, and there hasn't been a chance to tell other people. Part of the reason why it's hard to find those conversations is because the tooling is kind of clunky. We ride a lot on the free ride of GitHub, and we tend to we're a community that finds its own use for things in true cyberpunk fashion. That does tend to mean that we don't have any dedicated tooling for governance, and it does mean that you sort of jump between PR requests in GitHub to markdown notes to sending email, even old-fashioned things like that. That also means there's a lot of manual diplomacy. What do I mean by that? Well, during the final sort of days of Fit 100, we had a bunch of people going, "Wait, I didn't know this value had changed, or I hadn't seen this." And I and a bunch of other people basically, not physically, but mentally, ran around trying to connect people together across cultures, across hemispheres, and across differences of opinion. And that was fun because you get to meet everybody and find out what they're thinking, but it doesn't scale. And it's a little exclusionary, right? It's very easy for one group to fall out of that list and have a sense that the conversation is going on. It's not just going on with you. And even if you are heard, like, do you really have a chance to change anything? I know that people have written FIPS and those FIPS have languished. I know that people sit there going, well, if there's a blessed FIP, the FIP moves ahead pretty quickly. But, you know, if I wanted to like change the world, how would I even get to do that? And a lot of that is about giving people equal and equitable access to resources. So, what does work? Coordinated subcommittee communities. One of the things that happened in Fit 100 is people self-organized, and then people and shout out to the folks in the APAC SP community and a few people I see in the chat right now who self-organized and summarized positions, right? Clustered around a set of things that they as a group felt, and then wrote that up and spoke up, which is not easy and takes up a lot of time. We all have actual day jobs. Well, my day job is governance, but everybody else has important things to do. We got to high level consensus. We managed to cram everybody into the same GitHub discussion, and with the wind blowing in the right direction, key people were able to talk and come to some provisional ideas. And also, we kind of introduced the idea of two-way doors. FIPS can feel extremely final, right? You ship the code, you change how the Filecoin ecosystem works, and then suddenly you're in this world where, you know, did it work? Did it ship? Did it go? Or did the network completely crash? Or did the crypto economy spiral out of control, or did I stop making the money I need to survive as an SP or a developer? With Fit 100, we try to emphasize that, look, if this doesn't work out, we can review it and go back and change those variables. And I think people were very, I think people like that idea, and it fits in with this idea of being much more iterative rather than, you know, my way or the highway. This is the direction we're going in, and if it doesn't turn out to be a good way, well, tough. I don't think that was ever actually the case, but God knows when you press that button to ship code, it can really easily feel that way. And so we have to build tooling and institutions that enable us to feel that we can try something out and we know that we can roll it back. And I will call out the Fast Finality FIP 86 people for doing a really good job at a big flag day for the whole ecosystem, and then working out how we can gradually test that and roll it back if necessary. So a lot of this is to do with technical implementations actually in the system, but governance can help. The tooling can match these kind of aspirations. Which brings me to one of the first bits of tools that we'll be exclusively showing, very excitingly, to folks today. This is FilPoll. This is an attempt to bring those conversations together and also help coordinate communities so we can get to some sort of high level consensus. FilPoll is Polis with the serial numbers. scraped off and reskinned and slightly retweaked for the Filecoin community. I'm going to try and make it sound exciting. Ian said, "Oh, you can do this, so I'll make it sound like it's world shattering." It's kind of fascinating and great, and if you've ever played with it, you kind of might get addicted to it. It's from the good old days, for me at least, of Occupy and the Arab Spring, the old cypherpunk values writ large. Audrey Tang, if any of you have heard them speak, Audrey is an amazing leader of community democracy in Taiwan and also a Pearl contributor from way back. And they adopted Polis to actually help mass deliver it. Real legislation in Taiwan. The way it works is this. People submit statements on a given issue and you agree, disagree, or pass. I like to, it's sort of gamified. It can feel a little bit like, well, depending on your flavor, it can feel like TikTok where you're just endlessly scrolling, but it's kind of fun. Or a dating app where you're swiping left and right. I like TikTok. But anyway, this is FilPoll. There's a lot of other stuff that you might be interested if you. I'm sure you're all fascinated by the progress of various FIPS, but you can keep a track of that. We now sync those with GitHub and display them on this little site. But the thing you really want to look at is the polls. These are the polls. We have this one, which is live and going on right now, which is what should we improve in governance talks like this. So this gives you an opportunity to heckle back at me. I'm going to fill this in now as you can. And like I say, it's like a dating app or like TikTok. I usually join virtual talks like this from North America. Well, actually, I do, but I'm in Colchester right now. But so this is a bit ambiguous, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to say agree on this. There isn't a test at the end of this. You can just click as much as you want. I do not come from Africa. Though I would like a wider range of time zone options. And by the way, you should be doing this too. Click on your own screen. Don't just watch me. It's participate, don't just spectate. So I do want that. Nope, I don't do that. Oh yes, I love valuable governance tokens. Let me do that. I do not want presentations to be sung through like in Hamilton, and I think everyone can agree on that. I actually do like AI. I know a lot of people don't, but I find watching these videos a bit frustrating. So I would like that. My language is English, so I'm just going to skip this. Uh, I'm going to say yes because I do sometimes during that. I don't usually do that. I don't. This is a special one for Adrian. And I love clicking on things. I'm going to say no to that. Okay, so we got through all of those. Please click on these two. I hope you're also making these decisions and I'm multitasking furiously. Oh goodness, you are. Look at this. People are filling in stuff. That's great. So let's see if we've got enough here to do a full report. Okay, so you can see that we have agreement and disagreement. A lot of people agree that they joined from North America, you Eurocentric lot. And that's interesting, right? So even if you're in North America, people would like a wider range of time zone options. And this isn't sort of unsurprising that people who join from Asia would also like simultaneous translation. And people are a little bit unsure about the translation thing. Some people skipped and so forth. Now, what you're beginning to see here is these two different groups forming here, right? So I won't sort of go into what the nature of those things are, but if you imagine a complicated ecosystem that Filecoin, you could imagine these groups self-organizing into, say, SPs. But would they self-organize between SPs who concentrate in committing sectors and SPs that do data onboarding? Would they separate into SPs who are based in APAC or SPs who are based in North America? I mean, I would think so, but That's not necessarily the case. And might not be the case in different decisions. This also means that if you're doing something where you kind of think that everybody secretly agrees with you, but maybe they don't want, it's hard, right? Like secretly you have strong opinions that you love Filecoin Plus, but you're never sure whether everybody else is going to agree with you. Here's an opportunity to see where the points of agreements are. Okay, so that was kind of cool and a nice tool to play around with. The one thing I didn't demo is you can add your own statements to it, right? If you don't feel you're represented because you join virtual Zoom calls from the moon, then you can add your own statement and people can join in and disagree. Or agree, and you can form your own posse. Um, None of this is going to be binding on governance. This is just one of the ways that we're going to try and help people organize and work out what people think, especially to find out what the heck we're going to do with governance. It's been a while, and Caitlin Beagle and the team at the Filecoin Governance Working Group made a proposal a while back for some changes to the governance system. We got some feedback on there, and one of the bits of feedback was, hey, can you flesh this out a little bit? And the other bit of feedback was, we're not sure about all of this. And so we built this tool. Actually, credit to Caitlin. Caitlin and Lucky built this tool to better understand what people want. So we have started another QR code. Take it and run with it. This is now your chance, Meredith, to post the other link and reveal this. This is a much bigger poll, right? And it's got asking a lot crazier questions about what you want to see in governance, right? How you want governance to be organized, who should vote, how much should they count for, like what should they be voting on, even. Um, uh, Please take this poll. We're going to spread it like wildfire through the community. Have fun with it. Unlike that poll you just took, you will have to log in through GitHub. Boo. Don't like tying ourselves to centralized services, but hey, that's what you do. We're going to start this poll now. We'll sort of wrap it up. We'll keep it going, but we're going to look at the beginning of those clusters when we all arrive in Toronto. We're going to go into little secret huddles there in smoky back rooms and go, oh my God, what does this mean? But then we're going to go out of those smoky huddles and we're going to talk to people more widely again based on those results. And we'll have online conversations about that and build things after that. And we'll use that and also the experiences that this team has now had with FIT 100 and PowerVote to build a new governance structure, hopefully in an iterative way and in a slightly fast moving way so we can get there really quickly. Many thanks to a billion people, Caitlin, Lucky, Raymond Zong, team at Canvas, UXit. If you need usability help with any of your stuff and you want it to look as great as this does and also work in a demo, UXit are your people. Everybody who helped with FIT 100, you were great. That's really informed some of the questions that we're asking. And take that QR code, go away and play around with it. And we'll use the experiences with this, with FIT 100 and PowerVote to build the new governance structure. Wait, what is PowerVote? Okay, that is an excellent segue into our next talk. I think we have like 3 minutes, so let me give you a bit of an introduction. Remember I said a million years ago that we proposed a reform of the Filecoin governance process, or at least the bit around FIPS, which includes crypto economics, fairly major changes that get implemented and change the consensus system of Filecoin and the code that runs on all the nodes and all of the many implementations we had. This was back in 2024. In this structure, I don't know where you're looking at it. It's possibly over there. We proposed divvying up storage providers, clients, but we had a lot of questions about like what votes should happen and how that should work. Questions, by the way, that you can answer and give your feedback in by still clicking on that QR code and filling in that poll. Um, uh, delving into this, we found a lot of interesting sort of challenges, things that we really wanted feedback. One of the number one things that we got general consensus on is people did want at least some part of the process to involve votes by token holders, people who are holders of the Filecoin token. We felt that that broadly written was a sizable component of the people who have literally invested in the success of the Filecoin, metaphorically invested in the success of the Filecoin network.